The midday sun beats down on your neck. With every step, sandals crunch against the dry earth, keeping a steady rhythm with the sharp, metallic jingle of a brass bell. When we think of an ancient religious journey, we picture a lone ascetic seeking quiet revelation. But look closer. You are walking in a crowd. Right beside the man in orange robes carrying his brass water vessel, there are merchants hauling massive cargo packs, scholars, and families. You have to wonder, is this crowd simply enduring a long trek to a distant shrine, or is their movement serving a purpose that goes far beyond personal prayer? The constant, predictable volume of these travelers provided the steady demand needed to turn seasonal footpaths into permanent high-traffic infrastructure. Look at this map of ancient India. Notice these two massive highways, the Uttarapa sweeping east and the Dakshina path running south. These routes operated as central arteries, pumping commerce across thousands of miles. To see how these arteries functioned, we have to inspect the traveler's pack. Everyone walking these roads carried a dual cargo. First, there were the physical goods. Traders moved high-value commodities over vast distances: precious seashells, pearls, heavy cottons, and regional spices. Second, they carried an intangible cargo. As these diverse groups camped and traveled together, they swapped vocabulary, shared building techniques, and traded recipes. By moving through these nodes, programs and traders acted as data packets of the ancient world, weaving a shared cultural map across a continent of otherwise isolated regions. All that foot traffic required rest stops. Religious monuments like the Sanchi Stupa were built strategically along these highways to provide landmarks and sanctuary for those on the road. Pilgrims needed food to survive the journey, and merchants needed safe lodging for their wares. The two groups relied on each other, creating a natural fusion of faith and commerce. Over centuries, these outposts scaled up. A solitary shrine evolved into a towering temple, and the dirt clearing grew into a permanent commercial center. This influx of visitors creates immediate local demand. The economy adapts to provide work for the artisan carving statues, the cook boiling massive vats of rice, and the vendor selling devotional items in the courtyard. The temple operated simultaneously as a house of worship and the primary economic engine that kept the local market solvent. This ancient ecosystem survived into the present day. It simply upgraded its technology. Look at the steep mountains of Kedarnath. Where travelers once endured weeks of walking, modern visitors hire fleets of helicopters and use shuttle taxis to navigate these same traditional routes. Regional wealth continues to flow from religious devotion, as the constant movement of people supports local transport fleets, hospitality networks, and retail businesses. The scale has magnified. Gatherings like the Kumbh Mela mobilize millions to a single riverbed, creating massive, temporary cities that drive billions in revenue for the local service and transport industries. The initial urge to seek out the divine provided the momentum. It pushed humans to cut paths through forests and cross deserts, eventually connecting isolated strangers. History is an active, ongoing process. The paths carved by those early travelers helped define the physical borders, local diets, and shared values we still navigate today. Which leaves a final question. If those sacred routes had never been walked, how different would your language, your culture, and your worldview be right now?